Imagine it's your wedding night. You and your husband are making a promise to each other. A promise not to love each other, a promise not to stay faithful, but a promise to kill anybody that comes between the two of you. So that if you cheat on your husband, you together with your husband are going to kill the person you cheated on with. And if your husband cheated on you with another woman, you and your husband are going to join forces and kill the other woman. Yes, for many people this sounds like a plot from a horror movie, but for Jason and Kelly Cochran, it was a deadly reality. What started as a seemingly normal relationship between two high school sweethearts quickly spiraled into one of the most disturbing true crime cases in modern American history, involving an alleged murder pact, a missing lover, a dismembered body, and eventually a dead husband. By the time investigators uncovered the truth, they weren't sure whether they were dealing with a single murderer or a serial killing couple. This is the story of Kelly and Jason Cochran. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thanks for joining me for another episode of True Crime Stories. If it's your first time here, welcome. Thanks for joining me. If you love true crime stories, please hit the subscribe button and join me, hear these stories together and learn something from these stories together. So today I'm going to be talking about murder, of course. We're going to be talking about missing persons, and I'm going to be talking about dismembered bodies. So viewer discretion is advised. Why don't you make yourself comfortable, get yourself your favorite drinks, and let's get right into it. Kelly and Jason Cochran seemed like the perfect couple. They grew up together in Indiana in the United States of America. Eventually, they became high school sweethearts, and after school, they got married. To friends and family, they appeared to be a typical married couple, but behind closed doors, their relationship was far from ordinary. Kelly and Jason Cochran had marital issues. Kelly told people Jason was abusive and threatened her all the time. She said Jason was struggling with his mental health. He had depression, he had anxiety, and even checked himself into a psychiatric hospital on several occasions. In 2014, while living in Michigan, Kelly began an affair with a co-worker named Christopher Regan. Christopher was 53 years old, and he believed he had found a genuine connection with Kelly. Christopher was a father of two, an Air Force veteran, and before he met Kelly, he dated a beautiful young woman named Terry. They broke up and reconnected in 2012. He moved to Michigan to be closer to Terry, moved there with his son. He was adventurous, he liked hiking, he liked being outdoors. He wanted to move out to another city to look for a job. Scheduled to have a drug test for his new job on the 13th of October. On October 14, 2014, Christopher disappeared. Friends became concerned when he suddenly stopped communicating. Terry, his ex-girlfriend, became concerned. On the 24th of October, Terry went to report to the police that Chris was missing. At first, some believed Chris had simply left town, but one investigator refused to accept that explanation. Former Iron River Police Chief Laura Frizzle believes something was wrong from the beginning, so investigators decided to dig deeper. That was when they discovered Chris had been having an affair with Kelly Cochran. Police came around, they went to look around his flat. It seemed like he had just left the flat. It seemed like somebody who had moved out. Everything seemed like he was in the middle of packing when they got there. He still had boxes, he had some things packed and some things unpacked. His car was parked outside, so they went to check the car. Inside the car, they found a sticky note that had a step-by-step direction to an address. The address led the police to the Cochrans. That was when they discovered the affair with Kelly Cochran. They knocked on the door. Jason opened the door. When they asked of Kelly, Jason said she was not in. Then, as he was telling the police that Kelly isn't in, Kelly just came out and said, "Oh, I'm around." Maybe he didn't know I was in. Jason looked so tense. He didn't really want to give too much in response to the questions being asked. She said She and Chris were co-workers, but she hadn't seen him either in a while. And the last time she had seen him was before the 12th of October. Upon further investigations at the police station, Jason confessed he knew of Kelly's affair with Chris. But the thing is, the couple denied involvement. They denied involvement in the crime. Detective noticed inconsistencies. So the case kind of stalled. It wasn't moving ahead. Months passed. No, they couldn't find the body. There was no crime scene. No arrest had been made. Then the Cochrans moved back to Indiana. They moved from Michigan to their hometown, Indiana. For many missing person cases, that would have been the end, but not this one. 16 months later, on the 20th of February 2016, Kelly made a frantic 911 call. In the call, she said her husband Jason was unresponsive. She claimed he had overdosed on heroin. Paramedics rushed him to a hospital, but Jason Cochran was pronounced dead. Initially, it appeared to be like just a tragic overdose, but an autopsy revealed something much more sinister. Medical examiners concluded Jason had died from asphyxia caused by strangulation. Somebody had strangled him, with drug intoxication contributing to the death. The manner of death was ruled homicide. So now investigators had two suspicious deaths connected to the same woman, and this time they weren't going to let it go. They decided to call Kelly in to come in for questioning. She went over, and during questioning, Kelly began confessing. According to her, she and her husband made a murder pact when they got married. They agreed that if either spouse had an affair, the person involved in that affair would have to die. Both of them will come together and kill that person. So according to Kelly, she invited Chris Regan to the house in 2014. While she and Chris were in the bedroom, Jason allegedly entered and he was fuming and shot Chris in the head. Kelly claimed Jason then dismembered the body and disposed of the remains in a wooded area. But that wasn't all. Kelly also went on to say that she was the one that killed Jason. She called 999. She actually said to them that Jason had overdosed on heroin. That was what she told the 999 dispatchers or responders, that Jason was overdosing on hard drugs. But during the questioning with the investigators, she admitted she was the one that actually killed Jason. Her reason for killing Jason was that she never forgave him for killing Chris. In her own words, Chris was the only good thing in her life. So for 16 months, she allegedly planned revenge. Then she injected Jason with heroin and suffocated him. She described the killing as a way to even the score. So now Kelly agreed to take the investigators to the location where Chris Regan's remains had been hidden. According to investigators, she walked directly to the site. Search teams recovered a skull with a bullet hole and other evidence matching her story. Dental records later confirmed the remains belonged to Christopher Regan. After nearly 2 years of uncertainty, Chris's family finally had answers, but the case was about to become even more disturbing. As media coverage intensified, shocking allegations emerged. Family members and acquaintances claimed Kelly had boasted about serving human remains at a neighborhood barbecue after Chris's murder. One of the neighbors said they heard the sound of a gunshot coming from the Cochran's house. So they looked out of the window and heard a male and female arguing. Within seconds, a car was racing out of the house. The neighbors said the Cochrans then invited everybody on the street to come over to their house for barbecue. And when they got there was so much meat. Jason was boasting about how he used to be an exotic butcher in the previous state where they used to live. And they were really surprised about the amount of meat that was there. And so the neighbors started freaking out over the fact that they probably might have eaten human meat at the barbecue. So that story remains one of the most controversial and disputed claims surrounding the Kelly and Jason Cochran case. Even more alarming were suggestions that Kelly and Jason may have been connected to additional murders. Kelly herself hinted at other possible victims across multiple states. So now in 2017, Kelly's trial and sentencing began. Kelly Cochran stood trial in Michigan for the murder of Christopher Regan. Prosecutors argued she was an active participant in the killing. So after jury deliberating on the whole issue, she was convicted of first degree murder and several related charges and received a life sentence without parole. Then came the Indiana case involving her late husband. In 2018, Kelly pleaded guilty to killing Jason Cochran. She received an additional sentence of 65 years in prison to follow the life sentence she was already serving. When a relationship is built on lies, on deception, on control, on jealousy, on obsession, instead of honesty, trust, and responsibility, the results can become very harmful to everyone involved. So, in all your relationships, in all your dealings with others, be honest, communicate openly, respect each other. When problems arise, deal with them directly, set healthy boundaries, and take responsibility for your actions instead of pushing things under the carpet and trying to control others. It will always backfire in the end. Let's learn to solve problems before they go into bigger ones. What have you learned from this case? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed this true crime story, please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. I'd love to read your thoughts on this. I'll come your way again next week with another intriguing story. In the meantime, please stay safe out there. Take care.